So, as I am going through this closet situation, and I'm finding all kinds of old cards and letters, and it's very difficult to clean these things out because it's all so emotional. So, but what's really kind of catching me by surprise is how many cards and letters I'm finding that I wrote to people and never sent.
Okay.
So I found these 2 cards.
Okay.
Addressed to you.
Oh boy.
And you know, honey, they've got to be 30 years old.
Okay.
And so they're unsealed. Like you never
sealed, right.
Or they're sealed rather, like you never open them. Those cards have got to be 30 years old.
Right.
Or more.
Are they love letters?
I have no idea what is in those cards. Can you guys see that? This is in my closet. It's still registering 88 degrees. After $6,000 worth of insulation, that's the best we can do. My thermostat is set at 74, and my bedroom runs hot too. It's running at about 84. This was 89 earlier, so we've gained a degree here. But it's so frustrating. I don't think I'm ever going to solve the problem in this closet, but it's okay. It's okay. We're just going to work with it. So the closet remodel has been delayed for several months. Maybe you haven't noticed, but there's been a lumber shortage. So that's caused a problem. The prices have skyrocketed. We do expect that the lumber prices will come down pretty soon. So I had to basically scrap my plans for all the doors, at least for now. I think I'll be able to get them, maybe in a year or whatever. But my contractor's been very, very busy too. So people have been doing things, but the lumber prices have been a problem, and the lack of lumber has been a problem, during the summer. But like I said, I think it's gonna kind of even itself out here as we head into fall. He's been so busy, and he had to kind of put me back about 6 weeks or so, which is fine. And it's given me more of an opportunity to go through some of these things that I normally would have just continued to put in boxes and found yet another hiding place for them somewhere in the house. But going through all these vintage pictures has really kind of held me up a little bit. But we have been doing some sorting and cleaning. I've been doing, my side is almost done. Joe's he's got to go through his stuff because I don't like to make decisions on things that are, his, right? So he's going to have to work on that, but we'll get there eventually. So it's been kind of hard for me lately. It's like there's so much going on with the closet, with the landscaping, with the septic. And so we've got all these like balls up in the air, but nothing is actually happening. And so I have never been one to really handle limbo very well. And I seem to like I need a circled date on the calendar and a time. And as soon as I have that, I go like a crazy person and get everything done. But between now and then, I'm walking around aimlessly trying to figure out what in the world am I doing. So that's all that's left of my big piles. I'm almost down to the end. Really, really old scrapbook stuff and old pictures. I'd like to just finish this up and get this done today. I have to go feed my kids right now, but I am going to get this part done before I go to bed tonight. So some of the lessons from all of this, as we were bringing our kids up and doing activities and things when they were little, we always had our hands full, and sometimes we would go to these sittings for pictures, or we would try to take pictures of our kids, and I would be like, oh, we don't have our, look at so-and-so's got got to have their hair combed, or we don't have the right outfits on, or, I'd get the pictures back and I would think, oh, these aren't the best pictures. And so they end up in a box and I don't end up, putting them in frames or displaying them or enjoying them at all. And all these years later, I'm going to tell you that these are some of the most prized and precious possessions that I have. The things that I thought were not good enough. It's one of the things that has held me up in my life. The insecurities and just the fear and the intimidation about sending that letter to a friend who maybe needs to hear the words that I wrote, and you second guess yourself so much. We do that even here on YouTube, even right now. I don't, it's like I'm either going to do this and film these videos and put this material out, or we're not. But there is one thing, as we constantly grapple with being on YouTube and putting our family out there, there's one thing that I realize is that we have these videos for ourselves forever. We're forced, really, because we've made this commitment to YouTube to do this and make these videos. And even looking back, we're coming up on our 3rd anniversary of being out there with you guys. And even looking back 2 years ago to our first videos with the kids, it is as goofy as they are. And I mean, we've made very small and gradual improvements. It's not been dramatic or great or anything, but as I look back at those videos, boy, am I glad we have that. Boy, am I glad, just for our own family's benefit, if nothing else. And boy, am I glad that we took the chance to come out here, even though even our channel is in a slow and steady stall right now. I am glad that we persevere, because during those slow times, I'm getting to know a lot of you better. And I'm going to tell you how much I appreciate you guys. The community support that we find on this channel, and because of it, is just absolutely incredible. So, as I am going through this closet situation, and I'm finding all kinds of old cards and letters, and it's very difficult to clean these things out because it's all so emotional. Blast from the past kind of stuff.
Yep.
You know how that goes.
Yep.
So, but what's really kind of catching me by surprise is how many cards and letters I'm finding that I wrote to people and never sent. Okay, one I just found that was to I don't want to start crying, to an old friend of mine. And let's just say I wish I had sent it, and I didn't.
Okay.
So I found these 2 cards addressed to you.
Oh boy.
And honey, they've got to be 30 years old.
Okay.
And so they're unsealed, like you never
sealed,
or they're sealed rather, like you never open them. Those cards have got to be 30 years old, or more.
Are they love letters?
I have no idea what is in those cards. What do they say? One says
Joe,
and I'm scared because what does the other one say?
To the impossible one. That's a Hallmark card. And it's taped.
That sounds like something you would send after a marriage battle of some sort.
I don't know.
I'm gonna hold the camera still.
And that's a Hallmark card too. Do you want me to open them?
I think you should. What do you think?
Okay, well.
30 years later?
Okay.
Oh, this is just too much.
This is where we roll the sentimental music in the background.
I have no idea what is in these cards.
Okay. This says, to my husband.
When's the last time I sent you a card like that?
30-some years.
We've been a little busy.
Right, let me see how much a card costs. No.
Honey, that might be interesting, actually.
$1.50.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's got to be 30 years old.
It's at least 30 years old.
Color. Okay. It's a Christmas card.
Okay.
It says, our special plans, our favorite times, the joys we share as parents.
Oh.
These are the things in life that make me happiest, and I'm so glad to be sharing them with you.
Oh.
Merry Christmas with all my love. And then in your handwriting, it says, who cares about the stuff anyways?
Okay.
And you signed it YW, which means your wife. Oh. Well, that was very sweet.
There's more stuff up there. That's very interesting.
And it's $1.50.
Golly.
So that card must be.
Well, it said
you, honey.
parenting.
That's
So,
very
well,
sweet.
of course, we started out as parents.
We did.
So, but it probably was after Joel came.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? I never gave
Probably.
that to you.
Yeah, that is weird. Wonder what happened.
I
And
don't
then to
know.
the impossible one.
This one scares me.
So let's see what this one says.
I can't believe the stuff that I am finding up there.
Okay, this one says, for my husband,
Okay.
thank you for a wonderful present.
But you never gave me any presents.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't. That's probably why we stopped giving Christmas cards.
Yeah, right. And
When you gave me a dehumidifier one Christmas, that was
Okay.
kind of the end of it for
this
me.
is kind of funny. It's punny.
Okay.
Thank you for a wonderful present,
Okay.
and past and future.
I thought this would be a lot more dramatic than
Merry
that.
Christmas with all my love. Me.
I thought this was going to be a little more dramatic,
Not
but
so
I'm
much.
kind of
This
glad.
one costs $1.25.
And so it might even be older.
Maybe older.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. We've never been much for gifts or presents.
Cards
that
or
kind of
anything.
thing.
And even when this is going to make a whole nother video.
Yeah.
But even when we used to do that, you and I really never did anything for each other.
No.
It was always the
Always
kids.
about the kids.
Yeah.
We always did that. And we always did meaningful things together instead of buying each other stuff. So, well, that was
Interesting, huh?
interesting. You can see we have a punny sense of humor.
It hasn't,
Still,
not much has changed.
past,
But isn't that,
present,
but I was
future.
scared because I didn't know what in the world I might have said in that.
I don't.
But
know
still,
because
30 years old, honey.
We opened up a 30-year-old card. 2 of them. Okay, well,
Okay.
thank you for thinking of me then. And thank you for thinking of me now.
And thank you for still being married to me
Yeah,
35 years later.
Aw.
Okay. The card that Joe opened, the one about the presents. So I slept on this and I it was a long time ago, but I got to thinking that was a huge issue early in our marriage. We're going to talk about like how we met and how we came to get married and all of that kind of stuff, because these pictures that I'm unboxing as I clean out my closet to get ready for that reno, I'm being inspired to do a few different kinds of videos. And so I think we might kind of veer a little in a different direction over the next few weeks, over the summer, while we're taking a break from music therapy and we're not doing school and all that. And as a way of telling stories and helping you to get to know us a little bit better. There's a lot of you, we've been on YouTube almost 3 years now, and a lot of you have asked me to do these types of videos, and I haven't really known how to go back that far to tell these stories. But as I open these pictures and things, I am getting inspired. And so we may do some extra videos, or we may just kind of veer off course a little bit, and we need to try to do something maybe to help our channel a little bit, because just like Joe and I have been stuck in this rut, the growth on our channel is too. And I think it's probably, you can only blame so much on the algorithm. It's probably a direct reflection of how we feel and the work we put into it. But anyway, this whole business with the gift giving, I was always one to plan the parties and give the gifts and do all these things. And I was so frustrated early on in our marriage that Joe wasn't like that. And so you could say that he's not one of these, overly romantic types or whatever. But I've come to realize, and I think I did realize this a very long time ago, and maybe even before I gave him those cards, which might be why I didn't give him the cards. But I just realized that was something that I needed to accept about his personality, and kind of let that go and understand that I wasn't, hurting for things. I had everything I needed. If I really wanted something, he would do what he could do to get it for me. And as you can tell over the years, that's kind of worked out for me okay. I have no complaints at all. Joe is an excellent provider. He's a good father. He's a very loving and faithful husband. I couldn't ask for anything more. And that is with all my heart and sincerity. I mean that. He edits these videos, so he's probably going to enjoy this. But, I don't know. It's kind of like bringing up some things that I go through the pictures too, and I see the ones that I had kept in boxes and not displayed. And it's because I thought, Jesse's hair is a mess, or David's not looking at the camera, or, I don't really like the outfits that we wore, whatever. And that is all just so, gosh, if I could just say something to you younger moms. I notice, I see a lot of the younger ladies that, they'll be in their prime of life and looking absolutely gorgeous and thin, and, they'll complain about how much weight they've gained, and it's just, if you could try to understand that the moment you're in today, that's your best moment. You should cherish that moment regardless of those those little things that are, that are just not that important. And I think what happens is when you kind of open these time capsules 35 years later, I'm seeing pictures of myself where I used to think, oh, I look so bad, and I'm like, if I could only look like that today, would I be happy? You don't realize what you have when you have it. And so if I could encourage you to just take the pictures, preserve the pictures, keep the pictures. Don't worry so much about how you look, or, in our case, I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. I'm talking to myself, and that I have so many filters, and I think, oh, I don't want to offend this person, or I don't want to say this, or this isn't really what our channel is about. I think sometimes when these things hit me, I just need to share it. And people are welcome to watch or not watch, but this, more than anything, this channel is for us, for our family, for the future. My kids, and some of you have pointed this out, how unfortunate it is that they can't see those pictures, but you know what? They can watch the videos. And so for them, this is all a snapshot and a moment in time for them. Someday when we're not around anymore, when they're adults and they look back on their childhood. And I think that is really important. I'm more and more, I'm understanding the importance of, just capturing these moments in time, just little things. And I kind of like these, this new weekly style vlogging, I guess is what we're doing, because we just take little bits and pieces about what we're going through in a particular week. And so it kind of all runs into itself and goes together at the end. But we're going to do some fun things, coming up, and that we think are fun, and we hope you do too. But you guys are probably going to get to know a lot more about us and our past and the things that we've done in our lives, maybe than you even want to know. I don't know, but it is a big part of who we are and how we came to be and how it is that we happen to be where we're at in this moment. Are you geeking out on UPC codes, trying to determine the age of these cards?
Most of our viewers don't know that I have a long 25-year history of being a forensic investigator, right? So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how that looks at it, it makes me curious and skeptical.
Oh, it makes you a total geek.
I know, but so these numbers are on these cards, right? All right, there's a number there, and it's only 8 digits for the UPC, and this one is 13 digits, and this one was $1.25, and this was $1.50. We know that. But I think that this one is older than this. We're trying to find out
the exact date. The exact date, yeah.
Because, Mom, you didn't put the date on there.
No. And now I understand why people do that.
My parents put the date on there.
Yes, and I understand why.
We don't send a lot of cards.
No, we don't.
We don't send hardly any cards.
We don't.
But I thought that we'd be able to find these SKUs by looking up, on the internet, because you can find that stuff, supposedly. But we have not been able to find, not valid, not been able to find anything. These have a little 22-04 at the bottom, and this one's a 2201. So it's possible that this could be 2001.
But then we looked it up, they say that they don't.
Well, they never said it. It's what people have said.
People have said that you can't really tell the date. That's not what that means.
And then this one says 2204, which would be 2004.
So you're guessing.
We're guessing. But we have found out that Hallmark supposedly used to put the date on the card.
Prior to
1997.
So they're not older than that.
So 24 years ago, they started taking the name, or they took the dates off.
So we kind of went back through our memory bank, and determined that they could be that old. They're not any newer than 13 years old, because we haven't celebrated Christmas in 13 years.
Correct.
So they're probably somewhere between 13 or 14 years old and 24 years old.
Right. And we think that it would have been at our previous house.
Or the one before that.
The one before that.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's the one before that, because yeah.
So so we're still on a mission. I mean, it's one of those things when you say something's 30 years old or 20 or 25, it's like, when is it? You know, we don't really know.
And we don't want to, not tell the truth. We didn't do that on purpose.
Right?
We
just don't know. But my guess,
that was an emotional moment,
is that this 2201, it's probably 20 years old. And this one is probably 17 years old.
See, I look at those two cards from my perspective, and the fact that they were both unopened, and I think they had to have been the same year. So, honey,
maybe the cards were printed different years because they had them left over from the year
be.
before. I'm sure that could be.
That's the kind of thing, though, that they usually change year after year.
Yep.
They just
Unless
take out
they just sit there, unless they're
depending on,
especially for holiday cards, they're gonna just bring out what they have from last year, bring them out, put them out on the shelf. I would think that that's what they do. It depends. Your Hallmark store, your gold stores are not going to do that. But people who resell Hallmark cards, like CVS or somebody
grocery
like that,
stores,
they're going to pull out last year's.
Now, I will say this, you have forensic background.
Yeah.
Well, I have grocery store stocking background.
Yeah, right.
And I will tell you that we would take out the old stock and get rid of it. So I don't know.
Yeah,
This is
I
a
think they would
mystery.
be sold. Now they would show up on eBay, and someone
Yeah.
would sell them in a package.
So we're geeking out over here, and those of
Trying to
you
figure this out.
who like to geek out also, if you can figure this out, then figure it out and let us know.
Put it in the comments.
And we'll...
And, yeah, we'll do something.
But
We'll maybe give you a shout out.
Yeah, not quite as dramatic as we had hoped, but it's still, it's
Right.
quite
It's
an
a mystery.
interesting, it's a mystery and an interesting story
And an
nonetheless.
interesting story.
Every
Yep.
change